The day he stopped making excuses. A powerful life lesson story. In a small town surrounded by dusty roads and quiet streets, lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel was not lazy. He had dreams just like everyone else. He wanted to build a successful life. He wanted to make his parents proud, and deep inside, he believed he was capable of something bigger. But Daniel had a habit that quietly destroyed his progress. He always made excuses. Whenever something went wrong, Daniel had a reason ready. If I had more money, I would start my business. If I had better teachers, I would be more educated. If I had more time, I would work harder. If my life was easier, I would succeed. At first, these excuses felt comforting. They protected him from feeling like a failure. But slowly, they also built invisible walls around his life. Years passed, and Daniel noticed something strange. The people around him were moving forward. His childhood friend Noah had started a small shop. Another friend, Lucas, had become a skilled carpenter. Even people who once struggled more than Daniel were slowly building better lives. Meanwhile, Daniel was still standing in the same place. One evening, while walking through the quiet town street, Daniel sat on a wooden bench near an old park. He looked around and sighed. Why does life feel so unfair? He whispered to himself. At that moment, a retired teacher known in the town for his wisdom. He had heard Daniel's words. Mr. Howard asked gently, "Young man, what troubles you?" Daniel hesitated, but then he spoke honestly. "I want to succeed, but life never gives me the right opportunities. I don't have the resources others have. Everything feels harder for me." Mr. Howard listened quietly. Then he pointed toward a small construction site across the road. A man was working alone, laying bricks under the fading sunlight. "Do you see that man?" Mr. Howard asked. Daniel nodded. "That man lost his job 2 years ago," Mr. Howard said. "He had no money, no support, and no experience in construction." Daniel looked surprised. "Then how is he building that house?" he asked. Mr. Howard smiled. "Because one day he stopped making excuses." Daniel frowned slightly, confused. Mr. Howard continued. 2 years ago, he sat on this same bench complaining about life. Just like you. He said the same things. He had no opportunities, no money, no help. But then something changed. Mr. Howard paused and looked directly at Daniel. He realized something simple but powerful. No one was coming to save him. His excuses were not protecting him. They were imprisoning him. That night, the man went home and made a decision. He said to himself, "Maybe I don't have the best tools. Maybe I don't have the best conditions, but I still have 2 hands and the ability to learn." So the next morning, he began working at a small construction site as a helper. The work was hard. His hands hurt. He made many mistakes. People laughed at him in the beginning, but he kept showing up every day. Slowly, he learned how to carry bricks, then how to mix cement. And how to build walls. And today, the same man who once complained about having nothing is now building his own house. Daniel sat quietly, watching the man working under the golden sunset. Mr. Howard spoke softly again. Life doesn't reward excuses. It rewards action. Daniel looked down at the ground. For the first time, he felt uncomfortable with his own words. He realized something painful but true. For years, he had blamed everything except himself. The economy. His background, his lack of resources. But deep down, he knew the truth. Excuses had become easier than effort. Finally, Daniel asked quietly, "So, how do I change?" Mr. Howard smiled. "You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to stop explaining why you can't and start finding ways you can." That night, Daniel went home thinking deeply. He didn't suddenly become successful. He didn't magically solve all his problems. But the next morning, something important happened. For the first time in years, Daniel stopped making excuses. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough time," he woke up earlier. Instead of saying, "I don't know how," he started learning. Instead of saying, "I can't," he tried. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, Daniel's life began to change. Not because life became easier, but because he became stronger. A few years later, Daniel started his own small business repairing bicycles. It wasn't a huge company, but it was built with effort, discipline, and courage. One day, a young boy from the town asked him, "Daniel, how did you become successful?" Daniel smiled and said something he would never forget. "The day I stopped making excuses was the day my life finally started moving forward." And remember this: excuses feel comfortable today, but they steal your future tomorrow. Success doesn't belong to the most talented person. It belongs to the person who keeps moving forward, even when it's difficult.